How do you cope with tomorrow, the next week, and the next month? And how would you both advise on any fears of personal failure?
So your fear is that you're going to do stuff and it will fail?
Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah. So and we've given you lots of the traits of successful entrepreneurs, millionaire entrepreneurs specifically, and I don't think we've mentioned that seriously. One is that they fail much, much, much more often than others. So I can pretty much promise you that of all the people in this room, the two people who fail most at marketing are us. Because we do more than everybody else, and we test more and we try more. The key is we don't really sort of label it as failure. When I worked for the radio station, we did this huge documentary on Michael Jackson. And there was this interview with Michael Jackson back when he actually spoke to people and gave interviews. And it was just before the Thriller album was released. And Off the Wall had just come out and actually hadn't really done very well. And the person's interviewing him, they said, tell me about your next album. He said, my next album is going to be the best-selling album of all time. They said, well, yeah, but what if it fails? And he said, that word is not in my vocabulary. It doesn't exist. It's not there. It's not in my head. And you will find that for most millionaires, multimillionaires. When they do something, it doesn't work, it's a result. And it's a result to learn from. Now, that is key, because if you just keep on failing and screwing up, that's stupid. But if you look at Branson messes up all the time. He tried to do the lottery, he flies up on this balloon and that balloon crashes in the scene and he kills himself. But it's not a failure to him. So it's almost good that you didn't have a breakthrough and had a question, because it's a really important point. You have to rethink and reframe how you think of as failure and accept it and embrace it. And if you follow the marketing principles we've talked about, specifically testing, and specifically testing small and getting early results, failure doesn't matter, because you're only actually looking for kind of one home run out of the 10.
We try and fail fast, fail cheap.
Yep.
And fail in multiple things simultaneously. So there are 6 things happening. If 5 of them don't work but 1 does, now we could concentrate on the 1 and then start the next thing, right? And as far as the embarrassment or humiliation of it, Branson's a good example. I mean, you're going to have egg on your face from time to time if you're attempting much, right? Bankruptcy, at least one, is extremely common among multimillionaire entrepreneurs. It's very common for them to have it in their background. Some don't talk about it, some do, and the ones who don't at least flirted with it. You know, Donald Trump tells this great story about, he was still married to 2 ago, in the last real estate crash. And he's walking down the street in Manhattan with his wife, and there's a homeless guy in the door where he's selling pencils. And he says, see that guy over there? She says, yeah. He's worth $2.2 billion more than I am, right? Because Trump was $2.2 billion upside down at the time. Japanese banks calling his loans, front page of the New York Times, what a schmuck he was, you know. He talks about not wanting to go out because he's plastered all over the newspapers, you know, it's the end of Trump, finally, the emperor has no clothes, he's exposed as a moron, this was the, you know, and so he talks about his preference would have been just to stay the hell home, but there was no opportunity in that and no profit in that. So in the evening, he had to put on his duds and go to the social function, go to the fundraiser, go to the movie premiere, because that's the only place there was any opportunity and any profit. I have been in exactly the same position, not as big as Zero's, but exactly the same position and had exactly the same emotion. You know, gee, I don't want to go there because at the moment, you know, everybody thinks I'm the village idiot and it's just going to be unplugged, but there's no opportunity not going. So everybody has egg on their face and they don't stop unless they stop innovating, inventing, improving, and trying to make money. and you just have to be resilient. You give the failures the swift sword. You fail fast, you fail cheap, and remember that the people who are laughing at the egg on your face at the moment will be giving you trophies and awards, kissing your ass and asking for jobs or to borrow money a year from now, and will never mention the egg on the face.